Hey all, welcome back to Science in the City. We have some exciting stories that are all over the place, so let's get started.
Everywhere. It wasn't even on our list today, but I wanted to talk about the algae in the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool, which is just cracking me up. So, I mean, I only had a pool once when I was a kid, and it was because my mom remarried and that guy had a pool. And I just remember it was like nonstop work to keep it from getting algae, because algae really just wants to grow in quiet, flat, shallow water. And so apparently the Lincoln Memorial's always had this issue. So when they first built it in the early 1920s, they didn't even paint it. Like, they didn't paint the bottom. It was just asphalt and tile.
Amazing.
And I guess it was like a light gray.
Okay.
So it still had like reflecting qualities, but it didn't heat the water up as much. So it had a lot of leakage problems because I guess DC is marshland.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I've never been.
As fuck.
Yeah. And the heat. Oh, I'll get to that. The heat wave made it so much worse. So the marshland underneath just made the pool sink over the last 80 years or whatever, which is why the Obama administration in 2010, I think they were like, oh, we got to redo it and fix it. I think they painted it, but it was also they kept the gray. But it still had problems. It still had algae problems. It's a huge pool. I don't know, like you saw it, there's no real shade cover. The sun is just beating on it, right?
Totally.
And apparently one of the water sources in there is from a nearby basin, so the water's untreated. So it's not even like tap water.
Right.
Amazing. So you already had a bunch of problems with it. So Trump being like, I want to fix this is totally valid because it did need work. The problem is like they jumped a lot of hoops with the interior design, whatever department or whatever. Like they need to be consulted. They bring in experts to say like, is this the right color? Is this the right water treatment? The right whatever we're going to put into it. He skipped all those steps. I don't know if this is true, but it sounded like he had just hired his pool guy. Like, did you hear that? Like, he just
I didn't know about any
guy.
of this.
So I was like, I don't know if that's real, but I saw him in an interview. He's like, yeah, I talked to Bob or whatever. And I was like, okay. So they painted it American flag blue, which was much darker than the gray.
Yeah, of course.
In a perfect world, I love the joke with physics, assume no air resistance. In a perfect world, it would have worked. It would have been fine. Yeah. Or if the water was like chlorinated up the ass and it was not coming from a basin, it could have worked, maybe, but it heated the pool up way too hot. The water's too shallow. I guess the bacteria that's been forming, they tested as Desmosdes. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right. I don't know the name of every bacteria and algae on the planet. It's not toxic, which is fine, but a lot of experts are like, we need to test this every week because like this can't be trusted now.
Yeah.
And this might go on forever. So now the story is, no, people have been putting fertilizer in it to screw it up. And I'm like, the algae has always been a problem.
Yeah.
It's just the blue paint made it worse.
So what, people just walk by and just secretly dump in a handful of fertilizer? Is the conspiracy?
How would you secretly, you know how much water it is and how much you'd have to dump in? Yeah. I think someone would have noticed.
And so like you just keep this fertilizer in your pockets and you're just like,
I mean,
you just secretly walk by and
like
do it.
Buckets of it. And then phosphorus and like all these things. And I'm like, where would people get fertilizer? Sure.
Yeah.
But I'm just like,
all this extra shit.
Oh, it's so ugly. It's so, when you saw it, was it greenish or it wasn't there yet?
Yeah. Not that I didn't notice anything too odd because I was there. Okay. What would it be now by the time this episode comes out? It was mid-June. So it was literally last week, which was 7 days ago for us, which would be like the 13th or something. And I was there for like a Smithsonian astronomy event. And obviously being a tourist, I walked by, went to the Lincoln Memorial, but I was distracted by all the UFC bullshit set up there. So I didn't even like look too much around at like that kind of stuff. Also, the heat was horrendous and humid and hot.
The heat wave.
I was drenched. And I was and then I had to just Uber back to my hotel because I couldn't take walking anymore. So it was just awful. But I was distracted by the giant UFC shit being set up in front of the Lincoln Memorial. So, but I mean, from like a little distance or whatever, I didn't notice anything too crazy about the pool.
I don't know when they filled it up with water. The first few days, apparently, it was fine. But like, it takes a while for algae to develop. You know? So it's it's not just going to be instantaneous.
Yeah.
But I posted about it recently and just watching the comments light up of people being like, it's vandalism and sabotage. And I'm like, just because Trump says that's what it is, like,
I know, my God, not everything is a conspiracy.
80% of what comes out of his mouth is straight up just lies. Yeah. So I don't know how you can believe that. And even if it was sabotage, then theoretically you clean the water, keep security on it, and then theoretically it won't happen again. But it's going to. Summer hasn't even hit.
Yeah.
Maybe in the winter it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
But like it's going to happen again. Like, what's going to be your excuse then?
Right.
I don't.
I know. It just people somehow keep sneaking by, dumping things in it.
But a bunch of it's not even like a little dump. You'd have to dump a shit
lot,
ton.
right?
And like,
or a lot of people doing it. I don't know.
Like I don't. I wonder how much water evaporates in a day. I didn't check that. It's got to be a lot.
It's got to be a lot
because it's
how
shallow.
hot it is there too. I mean, just and like how hot it gets there in the summertime. Probably. Yeah, I didn't know about any of this until you literally just told me. That's
oh my God,
funny.
It's cracking me up. It's cracking me up.
Yeah, definitely put up a visual because
it's disgusting.
Yeah, I know. But like, the park and everything in the nature around it, obviously they keep it really nice. Just like walking through the park to the Lincoln Memorial. It's a nice area. Second time I've been to DC, but the first time was like when we first came here as immigrants in the late 90s. So it's a long time ago.
To DC? So, like on a trip or?
Yeah, when we came, we were on the East Coast, like Staten Island, and at some point we went to DC. Yeah, just cool. Just for the fuck of it.
I've literally never been. I've driven by it a bunch of times, never stayed.
I mean, it has a reputation for obviously like any big city, but especially DC being pretty crime driven.
Oh, really?
However, one of my Uber drivers told me that when Trump took office and stuff with the National Guard being deployed, like their presence alone has just made the city within a year safer.
I believe that.
So I could see that. But when I was there, I felt okay. I mean, my hotel was in the area where they had a lot of what the hell? As embassies. And so it was like nice. And then like it would have been at least a 25 plus walk all the way to the memorial, which like in a normal world, great. But in this heat, I was just dying. At least 25. Girl, I think it was actually more. But then like stopped along places along the way, like an ice cream shop and whatever. But I felt safe. Again, granted, it was during the day. I couldn't take pictures like in front of the White House. Like, you know how people can just kind of be there outside of the gate.
They don't let you anymore?
But I think because of all the UFC shit, they just had a lot of road closures. So like I couldn't even access Pennsylvania Avenue. So I was like, all right, fuck it.
Okay.
I'll just go to the Lincoln Memorial and then be done. So, but it's a nice city though. It's cute and
it's cute.
It's cute.
I always just wanted to go to the library.
Very green.
Oh, really?
Which is really cool. It kind of was like, it reminded me of Portland in that way where there's just a lot of greenery.
Oh, so there's shade.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I think because I've been looking at the reflecting pool so much, I'm like, sun everywhere.
Yeah,
this is hell.
Well, in the park in that area, there aren't that many trees, surprisingly. I mean, there's some shaded path, but it's pretty open land. But then like in the city itself, as you're walking around, you get some shade from the buildings, some shade from trees, but it's a mix of both. But it's a very green city.
I wonder how much they had to pay for Winter Soldier to film that when it was like all blocked off in the beginning. I never watched Marvel, girl.
I hate Marvel.
The Winter Soldier is probably one of my favorite movies of all time, period.
Damn.
Yeah. It's actually genuinely like really awesome, but the opening shot is the memorial and he's running laps around Anthony Mackie and just
Disney money,
annoying him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was just funny because there's like, I don't think there's anyone else in the shot except for the two of them.
Sure.
Because it's supposed to show like it's 5 a.m. and who would be doing this except for these crazy guys. So I think that was like the idea. But one of the reasons I really liked the movie, for starters, is just because the fight sequences were so legit and they were based off of Filipino Kali, which I had practiced for a few years, so I had respect for that. But also, too, I forget the Winter Soldier actor's name, but his Russian is like rock solid because he speaks Romanian. So I was like, yes.
Oh, yeah. I'm forgetting his name, too. I know who the actor is.
Sebastian Stan.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hate when they hire people to do accents and they don't get a really good vocal coach. Like whoever they got for the Bethany Dutton character for Yellowstone, her vocal coach or whatever the accent coach is fucking awesome.
Watch Paramount Taylor Sheridan shows either.
She's British though, and she does like a Montana accent, like super great. Sometimes they hire consultants, but he didn't need it because he spoke Romanian, and
there you go.
There's a very like Slavic kind of accent, and he sounded really good. And I was like, when he first spoke, I was like, yes. Sounds so good.
I don't know, girl. I can't stand Marvel, so I will never see that movie in my life. No, I won't see any of them.
I think the last one that I watched was Endgame. Avengers Endgame. I think that was the last one. Mm-hmm. I didn't watch any of the shows. I didn't like the new Spider-Man movie. I'm like, I don't care. The only
a lot of fatigue.
Yeah, the only reason I kind of care is because the Punisher is such a great character.
Holy hell! I forget how many of these fucking characters belong to Disney and Marvel. That's nuts.
I think he's in it.
And he's a Marvel character.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. But DC, it's a nice city though. I do like it. I was there for Smithsonian collaborating with this company and it's still ongoing, but a virtual reality astronomy experience where they had their astronomy department work with this team to design realistic, like what would it be like if you were flying through the pillars of creation, or if you were right up against a black hole, all through virtual. And then there's like a virtual guide. Oh my God, it was so cool. Because astronomy of all sciences to me is the one that like visually really matters. Like people give a shit about it because of the imagery. And like the best thing we have right now is a planetarium, which is somewhat immersive, right? It's not like a flat screen, it's a dome. But imagine VR, like that's the next level. And it was just so fucking cool. It was actually insane. So like seeing the Big Bang, being close to Earth, seeing Betelgeuse up close. They put us also like on this like hellish exoplanet. But the black hole was definitely my favorite. Like imagine the scene in Interstellar where they're flying around it. Almost like not that violently, but like we were right up on it. And then like from your virtual hand, they were like, okay, now hold up your hand, and like it shoots out a light beam. And how even if the black hole is here, if you're parallel to it, but you shoot your hand this way, how the light will bend into the black hole.
So creepy.
Oh my God, it was so cool. So if you're in the DC area, you definitely have to check out this like astronomy Smithsonian experience. It's not hard to find, just Google it. But it's like well priced. I think it's like $20 for people to go, and it's totally worth the experience.
Wait, these are VR goggles.
Yes. They give you the whole headset, and then it's like 30-40 minutes, and you're just kind of walking through this area.
I would trip so hard.
But you don't, though, because like they give you virtual walls. Like, okay, if you're getting too far off your path, and like this red light, this red sequence of lights shows up, and you know not to. They kind of tell you where to go. So I was never worried.
Can you see your nose?
No, you're literally just immersed in this whole thing. It's a whole headset.
When they first started putting those together, they actually programmed a nose in there because at first the human mind was getting nauseous because even though you're not looking directly at your nose, it's always in your field of vision.
Totally.
So they were like, we need to like have like a slight like see-through-ish version of a nose, but I think they did away with that.
Yeah.
I think more people are just using VR, so they're getting used to it.
Maybe, I had never, one time I did this like smaller VR thing. It was like just a quick thing that they had like at a JPL stall at Yuri's Night last year, and it was like, what would it be like to be on Mars? And that was like 2 minutes, but this was like 40 minutes in this thing. I never felt sick or worried about running into people or anything. Anytime you're like near someone else who's also doing the experience, they have a silhouette outline too.
It's like backing up with your car.
With all the cameras. So I was never worried about any of that. But holy shit, so cool. I mean, I want these kinds of experiences to pop up everywhere because it is like none of us are ever going to have. Literally no human will ever have this experience of what it would be like to be near any of these objects or anything like that, which is crazy.
Where was this again exactly?
In DC.
But where exactly?
God, it was at a specific, it's all in the downtown area.
But it's like permanent. It's not like a pop-up.
I don't think it's going to last forever. It'll be there for a while, like an experience.
Okay, but
I don't think it'll be forever. Smithsonian Astronomy Department helped design it. It's not at the Smithsonian Museum. It's just their astronomy department designed it. But I don't think it'll be there forever. But like a while.
It's kind of a pop-up?
Kind of. Maybe like a few months.
I was going to say bummer.
They didn't tell me, but I would like this kind of shit to be a permanent installation in cities.
Yeah.
Because it's so cool.
Have you ever been to the Museum of Science in Boston? Mm-mm. You know what's funny? I only recently found out that's what it's officially called. All locals call it the Boston Museum.
Oh, okay.
Like we all just call it the Boston Museum of Science, but I'm like, oh, it's backwards. That is like mandatory for almost every New Englander. Like they bring you like multiple times a year, and it's so immersive. It's actually psychotic. The things that I love telling people, don't know if they're there anymore, but when I was a kid, they had a beating heart of a cow that they put in a giant system, and they're like, it can run on its own.
Yeah.
It doesn't even need the rest of the body. It just keeps pumping, and you like stare. As a child, you're like, they also have like the Tesla cage thing, and they will strike lightning.
We have one at Griffith.
I love those things.
Yeah.
Like I never went inside of it, but I know when they do shows, they're like, the kids can go inside. It was like one of the first places where I saw like any version of VR. They have stairs that are like piano. It's just all very immersive, and like kids can interact with almost everything. It's probably one of the best things that Boston has. So if you're ever in Boston,
a lot of these cities have such cool museums. And like when I am a tourist somewhere, I have to check out like one place while I'm there, because to me, it's a symbol of what the city has to represent. But I'm also like, I like museums, so obviously I'll check that shit out.
What was the South by Southwest one? Just looking for Mexican food or the Tex-Mex? That's what you wanted.
Oh yeah, when we were in Austin, I was like, I just want some good Tex-Mex, and like, I had it. It was great.
Experience. It was pretty good. Even
for, that TikTok event for the first Friday night when we got there. Yeah, it was, that hotel was super cool. But there was no time otherwise to go like actually look for an Austin museum.
If it wasn't hot, there would have been time, but we were just miserable.
You can't survive. Like that's the thing with the DC thing too. After I explored for like an hour and a half, I had to go chill in the hotel for the next few hours before the actual Smithsonian event. Yeah, I was like, I need to just cool off, and then before I headed out to the event. But anyway, if you're in the DC area, super cool. I would love to see more astronomy VR pop up in places, and maybe this will be the start. I mean, you can't get bigger than the Smithsonian for a museum, so they probably maybe just started with that specifically, and they had the money.
Okay, the other cool thing. This is just, I guess, more like drama along the lines of the pool, which is the SpaceX going public thing.
Yes, sure.
So
let me flip to that page.
It's okay. So I originally got into mathematics because when I had nothing to do with STEM or anything, like years and years ago, I had worked I was a demo singer. And so I had worked with the sound engineer for a while, and he had been invited to a party downtown. And he was like, oh, you guys should come, because we were like in a band, and I hated going to parties and I hated going downtown, but we went anyway. And this dude's girlfriend was best friends with this other girl whose boyfriend worked at SpaceX. And so he, as a director, brought all of his SpaceX people, right? And so this sound engineer and the SpaceX dude did a lot of stuff together. Mm-hmm. And so every event that he got invited to, that we got invited to, there would be like 30 SpaceX people at these things.
Yeah.
I mean, Dodgers games, we get tickets for free.
Yeah.
And that's how I got kind of sucked into the SpaceX world, was because I was around them all the time, like even as a demo singer. And so I heard back then, 10 years ago, a lot of drama that went down at SpaceX back in those days, and it was just an absolute clusterfuck. And I remember asking one of the guys who, he was in finance somehow. I don't know he wasn't like an engineer or anything, but he was in the finance department. And I remember asking, like, do you think SpaceX will ever go public? And he's like, it'll go one of two ways. He's like, either SpaceX will get its shit together, because again, 10 years ago. He's like, SpaceX will either get its shit together and they'll be stable enough to survive the market and they'll completely transform the space industry overnight. Mm. He's like, or they're going to do an IPO and the whole thing's going to go to shit and this entire ship is going to sink. I was like, okay. He's like, it will be an extreme. He's like, there will be no middle ground. He's like, it will be one end either of the spectrum. I think probably one of the reasons why it took this long for SpaceX to go public, because there's a lot of rocket companies that are public. Yes, it was $1.77 trillion, which holy fucking shit. The thing that makes me nervous about all of this, I love, even if it's space, I don't even care. SpaceX, I don't know as much about it now as I used to, but like at least back in the day, it was pretty great. Like everybody wanted to work at SpaceX. Mm. Even when I got out of school, that was like, you either became a professor or you wanted to work at SpaceX. Right. Like as a mathematician, those were like where you wanted to go if you lived in LA. So I don't know about today, but I know that the pressure on the Starship rocket really can make or break this whole situation. Mm. Starship is supposed to be the main mode of transportation for NASA's programs to go to the moon, probably a lot of other private companies. Who knows how that's going to go. Mm-hmm. Their own data fleet. All of that is Starship, though. And that rocket has so many fucking issues.
Yeah.
So what they're saying is this is a hole in the ground we're going to throw money into and hope the rocket's going to get better. And like sometimes it is a financial situation. Yeah. You can't afford the best materials, the best people. And so the rocket's not the best it can be. But like maybe the rocket can't be any better than it is. Maybe marginally, but not enough to be like, you know, the Toyota 4Runner of family car trips. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. And if Starship does not start to show results, I think in the next 3 to 4 years, I think it could be a real make or break for SpaceX.
But SpaceX isn't just about space technology anymore.
True.
Either, though, because I think a lot of this evaluation comes from the fact that they're investing heavily in AI shit. So it's like AI, obviously.
Oh, you mean the bubble?
Well, you know,
that's why I'm like, I don't know.
But I'm not a fan of this fucking mega constellation bullshit from Starlink. But they do more than just like this one endeavor these days. It's like government contracts too. They're essentially NASA's go-to person from now on. And speaking of, I know like Blue Origin is rebuilding their launch pad.
Are they?
Yeah.
Was it completely destroyed or just like?
I don't know the extent of the damage, but definitely warranted a lot of.
In the same spot?
Needs rebuilding. So I think this evaluation, like nearly $2 trillion, comes from the fact that they're multifaceted. And like sadly, you know, even though AI is a bubble, these fucking people, I'm not just saying SpaceX, but like they're building data centers everywhere. So they think that there's a push for this. That other shit pisses me off too. I mean, it's just fucking up communities. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I saw your post with like the noise that the birds hear constantly, and I'm like, dude, as a human, I can barely stand that, even knowing what it is.
Can you imagine like animals that are so sensitive to noise, and then now there's another one that they're petitioning, or they're petitioning against building, but it's near one of the big zoos in this country, Nashville, somewhere in the Midwest / South, and then that's like garnered a lot of signatures because even the zoo people are like super worried about the damage it'll do to their animals with all the noise. And obviously all these data centers like, no, we know damage. Like, go fuck yourself. No one believes a word you say. But I'm honestly just getting so sick of all of this technology just getting out of control. Now all of this shit worth $2 trillion and like whatever SpaceX wants to do for the future, including AI. And I'm just so tired of it all. And that also reminded me of Reflect Orbital. Everybody hates them. Everyone who works
I don't think
knows about space or anything. I'm like, these two white dudes who had just sat around with their dad's money and just thought mirrors in space would just be a good idea.
Did you see their TikToks? They look like a bunch of bros who just have too much money, don't know what to do with it.
Except people can't stand them. One of our fellow STEM girlies who does space stuff, I can't mention who because she obviously DM'd me privately I'll tell you after. Okay. But she's like, thank you so much for calling them out. I can't because of how close my work is to like the grand scope of what
bullshit though that you can't do that.
It is bullshit. Like, absolutely. And I was like, no, I got you. I'm not beholden to anyone. I'll shit on whoever I want. And that includes Reflect Orbital, so they can go fuck themselves.
They're the worst.
And just real quick, their company wants to put mirrors in space to reflect sunlight down to any part of Earth 24/7. And who the fuck thinks this is a good idea?
Who even wants that?
I'll
say there's only one situation where I think it's viable, and it's after a storm for storm recovery.
That's what one of their excuses.
I know, that's the thing though. Yeah. They're not doing it for like the good of mankind, which that would be. Because like I've worked with my dad after storms, and
you need that light for sure,
especially in like rural areas. Yeah. I mean, it's pitch black. Like, close your eyes. That's what it looks like out there. And it's like, okay, after a storm, but that's the only fucking scenario where I'm like, that's a great fucking idea. Yeah. But they're not going to do it for those because those are isolated situations.
Totally.
And like, what about a hurricane in the southeast? Well, what if it's during the day and they get the power up by night and like the critical regions, which is funny as working with my dad, I've learned. So when they put the grid back together, they have an order of operations of priority of where to go first. And the first is anywhere where a hospital is on, which makes sense, right? Because their generators are limited. So they do hospitals first, and then it's like education. So it's like universities and stuff. So when I was in college, I remember telling my roommates at the time, I'm like, we need to live on the grid of UNH. Because New Hampshire, Vermont, Maine, we lose power all the time because we have nor'easters. And my roommates were like, no, who cares? I'm like, no, this is going to matter. We're going to lose power at least 6 times this winter, like guaranteed. And one time we lived on the grid and we got power before anybody else. And they were like, this is real. I'm like, it's real.
Of course.
It's real. But other than that, there's no reason for Reflect Orbital to fucking exist.
And they say that as like one of their reasons, but that is not at all the priority. No one's going to just put a space mirror up there to be used for emergency's sake. They're going to be like, well, we have it, so let's do it for other reasons that they somehow deem are a good idea.
I think it's probably for the Department of Defense.
I'm sure.
I think it's for that because like they're the only contractor I can imagine benefiting greatly from it.
I'm so sick of white dudes and their stupid fucking
their
ideas.
TikToks. I think I saw them on TikTok first. I'm like, this can't be real.
Right.
I looked it up and I'm like, whoa, somebody got daddy's money.
Know what?
And like,
and they should put a mirror above their own houses and have it turned on all the fucking time and see how much they like it. It sounds like absolute hell.
I'm sure it's minimal, but I'm wondering what the heat repercussions would be.
That's what people are saying. Like, what about climate change? So I know they said it would be 3 times as bright as a full moon and it's like cooler lighting, right?
Yeah.
But I'm not really sure exactly heat-wise what it would generate. I don't know.
I mean, it depends, I guess, on how many they build. But
that's the thing.
Why can't you just flip them the other fucking way? And we can see if that would work,
Right.
I'm sure one day this climate situation is going to hit its critical moment and we are going to be desperate and try crazy things. And like, to be honest, launching reflective material into space is probably one of the easier ones.
I've heard of that kind of idea before.
I'm curious.
Curious as to who's actually doing anything behind it, because I know I've read about it before, like being a thought out venture.
I don't know how they do
shit in space. Yeah.
Because like, I guess you can make it geostationary, so it just locks in above like, a region that's going through a drought and everything's dying and, I don't know. But to be honest, I've never been fully clear on the orbital mechanics of geostationary versus orbital.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, okay, I get that you lock in, but something about it, I'm like, you can only do geostationary, I think, if you're super far away. I think that's the problem. You have to be really, really far away.
Geostationary versus orbital being...
Like it's on the go.
Right. Oh, I see. Versus literally geostationary.
But geostationary, like if it's really far away, which I'm pretty sure that's where the geostationary satellites, like for Weather Channel,
sure.
I think they're pretty far out. Then like it's not going to do anything because it's going to be like this big. Like,
yeah.
So I don't know. But
and the thing is, like, sadly, where my mind goes is like, yeah, you're thinking of stuff that's going to help mitigate climate change, like the radiation coming in from the sun. No one, unfortunately, is creating shit just to be altruistic. Like, and that's the sad part. Yeah, we could absolutely put the technology out there that is just for the sake of helping this planet. But unfortunately, that's not going to get funding unless it makes somebody money.
Unless we're at the final.
And we're at the precipice.
30 seconds to midnight.
Yeah. And
maybe.
They're like,
whenever
all
I
along we could have.
I know. Well, I mean, there were periods where they tried. I mean, it's like pictures of LA back in the 60s and how disgusting it was.
Sure.
And even like local authorities were like, you know what? This is enough, isn't it? And then they started putting in smog control and stuff. So it's like there has been moments historically where people are like, you know what?
It's always almost at the breaking point. So
that's what we do. That's our thing. That's who we are.
Which is so stupid and annoying though. So like when most of all the continents are underwater, they're like, okay, let's put mirrors in space.
It's like, now it's too late.
Yeah. Like why when we know that? So anyway,
whenever I get pessimistic though of like people only make something to profit, I always think of that farmer on Shark Tank.
I know.
I always think of that
where
guy.
Is he now, though? He's not a billionaire.
No. But the last I knew, he was doing well. The last I knew, which was
tree TP.
He had been doing pretty well the last time that I checked. But I love when he's just like, the investors. To be honest, they're investors. Their job is to make money. So like, I get it. You're being honest about what you are, and you're there asking them for money. So what do you fucking expect, right? Like, let's all be point blank here. And he did kind of jack the price up so that there could be a profit made. And then the guys were like, instead of $4, it has to be $12. And he just goes, but they're farmers.
Yeah, that's.
And I was like,
I remember him.
Oh, and then one guy gives him money because he's like, you know what? I just respect you. Honestly.
I know. I forgot. It was an old guy with a ponytail who gave him the money, and I forgot which billionaire or millionaire that was. But yeah, I remember it.
So sometimes
he created the tree teepee.
Okay, is that what it was?
But and like small business people are still grounded enough to earth to actually give a fuck about it. They're not the ones in power though. So
I know.
The ones who are going to help mitigate climate change don't care.
Yeah.
So unfortunately,
even when it hits their homes,
they'll go underground to their bunker for all that.
But it's like, again, like we've talked about this so many times, like that shit's so miserable. Like, I'm like, I think they're just underestimating how absolutely miserable that lifestyle is.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't pay me to go back to that. Like, there's no way. And I'm like, I don't, and they're like, we can raise our own chickens. And I'm like, all right, bro.
Yeah. Good luck with that.
Like
living isolated in this world when everybody else has died. Minus you and your friends.
It just drives me.
I know, but I don't know. I don't quite understand their mentality and why absolutely none of them have a sense of like wanting to help this planet.
I'll be honest with you. This is going to be very transparent. I grew up super poor in the city, and then 9/11 happened, and my parents moved us up to near the Canadian border where we lived off grid, basically. Well, my dad says 90% off grid. And that was a different kind of hard. Right. Instead of like city life where you lived in Providence and Boston during the peak era of Mobsterville in the 90s. And then you're like, oh, we're going up against nature and we have to worry about bears and shit. Yeah. Like, it was when I was living like that, I was much more aware of how rough and tough things were and how far away the rich were, especially since I competed against a lot of them because I did road biking. We were the only public school in the Eastern Seaboard basically allowed to do it. And I raced against all of like the Kennedy's kids and shit. And so I was like exposed to them a lot. And the cognitive dissonance was just because on the bike, you talk a lot. So I would spend like 2 hours with these girls and the shit they would talk about, I'm like, what the fuck? Right. And it wasn't just the girls. The boys were bad too, according to my teammates. And I just never understood it. When I moved to LA and I started making pretty good money and I started to kind of like move up in things and move away from like where I had come from, I'll be honest, I go home sometimes and I'm like, ugh. Like, I don't even remember this. Like, I don't even remember doing this. It's so far removed from my reality. I can only imagine how far from reality you are removed if you're in the millions and the billions.
Yeah.
I almost kind of get it because I've gotten a little taste of it and I'm already like, I catch myself sometimes where I'm like, what the fuck was that shit?
Yeah.
What did I just say? But it's like, I haven't had to deal with, like what was it? Had to do with something like one of my friends was like harvesting something and had asked for help. And I was like, no. And I was just like, damn, like 10 years ago, I'd been like, oh, sure, no problem. Yeah. But it's just like, I don't even remember how to do it now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know if I still understand the disconnect because it's not like they're unaware of what's happening in the world. Like they're literally in and on the news 24/7.
They're in a little bubble.
But you still read headlines and you watch the news.
Do they though?
I don't know. I
can't speak for every billionaire, but the two that I've met, I guess this is a billionaire thing. You have a second in command. That person runs your life.
Yeah.
They control everything about your life. Like you can't even initiate a conversation with said billionaires unless you go through that person first and tell them what you're going to want to talk about. So I don't know. I think they're pretty controlled.
Seemed pretty chill. I've never spoken to
the one that we met in Austin.
Oh yeah, I remember him. Okay, now that makes the third one that I know.
He strikes me as somebody who looks at a cell phone.
Yes. Yeah,
so
because especially with most of them being entrepreneurial, you need to know what's happening in the fucking world to know how your business is doing. And so I don't know. I don't understand the psychology just yet. I for sure agree with some sense of disconnect. You see it with people in Hollywood who have been A-listers for so long and they're just so fucking aloof to the way normal people live.
That interview with, I want to say it was Kardashian, can't fucking remember, where she's like, I'll be honest, I have no idea how much a pair of socks costs or whatever she said. I'm like, I appreciate the transparency. It's just fucked, you know? It's like,
yeah. Gwyneth Paltrow is another terrible one like that. Oh my God, the crazy shit that she says of like just how... I remember something during COVID, or she was reminiscing about COVID and was like, I had to eat bread. And she was dead serious. And I'm like, oh my fucking God, people. I hope Hollywood sometimes just the fault breaks and it just falls off into the water.
I saw again, you're not on TikTok. It's just so funny. She was doing a cooking show and she was like, what was the ingredient? Sugar? It was sugar or cream or something like that. She's like, when I don't have cream cheese, I just replace it with kale. And then it cuts to this girl and she's like, kale? She's
what?
Like, do you know what cream cheese is? Or something like that.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Like,
just shut your mouth, for God's sake.
Oh,
anyway.
Just cracking up.
But anyway, yes, we'll see what ends up happening with this planet.